The city gleamed like a false paradise. Glass skyscrapers reflected a sky stained with smoke, while cars whizzed through the avenues like desperate ants. Billboards projected smiling faces, promises of instant wealth, perfect bodies dressed in designer clothes. But beneath the vibrant lights, New Sodom was a black hole of indifference. The streets were full of life, but it was an empty life. Young people laughed loudly in luxury bars, drunk on pleasure and power. Executives sealed billion-dollar deals, while, on the other side of the glass, children slept on sidewalks, covered by newspapers announcing the nation's prosperity. Every man for himself. No one looked at the other. No act of compassion. Lazarus knew the city well. He had learned to survive there. His small cafe, tucked away in a forgotten alley, was a refuge of those still searching for something beyond consumption and status. Within its walls, he clung to the illusion that New Sodom could still be saved. But deep down, he knew the city did not want to be saved. That night, two strangers arrived. They were different. They were in no hurry, nor did they seem intimidated by the overwhelming weight of the city. They wore simple clothes, but walked as if nothing could touch them. Their presence was unsettling, a disruption in the silent order of New Sodom, a reminder of something everyone had forgotten. Lazarus hesitated when he saw them. They looked tired but asked for nothing. Unlike the others passing by, their eyes were not vacant, not resigned. There was something about them, something that made his skin prickle. Without knowing why, he called them inside. The cafe was closing, but he served them bread and hot drinks. The first stranger studied the peeling walls, as if seeing something beyond them. The other gazed out at the streets, where the neon flickered endlessly. Neither spoke much. They only watched, like judges preparing to deliver a verdict. Then came the men of the city. They came as they always did, in groups full of certainty, inflated by the power they believed they held. They were the business moguls, the political leaders, the influencers, the icons who had shaped New Sodom in their own image. They did not tolerate what they could not control. They could not stand anything that disrupted their order. They surrounded the cafe, demanding that the strangers come out. They wanted to see them, to subjugate them. It didn't matter who they were, only that they did not belong, and that was unacceptable. Lazarus tried to reason with them. He pleaded. He knew how the city treated the different, but the strangers rose to their feet, and everything changed. First, the electricity. The lights flickered. The billboards shut down one by one, until the only glow left was the burning embers of cigarettes clenched between teeth. Then the silence. The sound of cars vanished. The massive advertising screens froze. It was as if the world held its breath. Then the stranger spoke. The city will be judged. And in that instant, New Sodom began to collapse. The tallest building split in half, like glass toys crushed by an invisible hand. The rivers overflowed. The streets cracked open, swallowing the very men who had ruled the city with iron fists. There was no salvation for those who refused to see others as human. People screamed, ran, desperately clinging to their wealth, their phones, their contracts, their expensive watches. But none of it mattered now. The destruction of New Sodom was not caused by a single perversion. It was not desire, nor lust, nor pleasure. It was indifference. It was greed. It was a belief that power made one untouchable. Lazarus ran, gripping his wife's hand, but he could not stop himself from looking back. He saw the faces of those who fell, and they were not remorseful. They were outraged, as if they truly believed this could not happen to them. As if, even in destruction, they still thought they owned the city. And then New Sodom was gone. There was no fire from the sky. The city burned from within. The flames had always been there, in selfishness, in pride, in the contempt for those below. In the end, only ashes remained. Lazarus knelt, his heart heavy. He had escaped, but something inside him knew. Another city like this would rise somewhere else. Perhaps it already was.